Can you believe it? After all the speculation, all the hope, the Toronto Maple Leafs have been handed a resounding no by a Stanley Cup champion. Doesn't that just twist the knife for Leafs Nation, a fan base practically starved for a true contender? This isn't just about a player choosing a team, it's about the narrative that continually haunts the Toronto Maple Leafs. For weeks, the buzz around Jonathan Toews, the seasoned veteran with a glittering resume that includes 3 Stanley Cups and an Olympic gold, had Leafs fans dreaming. The idea of adding his leadership, his winning pedigree, and his undeniable skill to an already talented roster was a potent fantasy. He was supposed to be the missing piece, the wise old sage who'd guide them through the playoffs. But alas, as is often the case with the Maple Leafs, that dream has seemingly evaporated, leaving a familiar sting. According to Chris Johnston of The Chris Johnston Show, the long-anticipated return of the 37-year-old former Chicago Blackhawks captain is indeed happening, but his destination won't be Toronto. Toews, who has battled back from significant health challenges, has reportedly narrowed his choices down to just 2 clubs, the Colorado Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets. For a team like Toronto, perpetually under the microscope and desperately seeking to break its long-standing Stanley Cup drought, this rejection feels like a punch to the gut. It's a reminder that even when the stars seem to align, the path to glory is rarely straightforward for the blue and white. To truly understand the magnitude of Toews' decision, we need to appreciate the remarkable journey he's undertaken. This isn't your typical free agent signing. It's a story of resilience, dedication, and an unwavering desire to reclaim his health. After a storied career defined by championships and individual accolades with the Blackhawks, Toews faced a terrifying setback, a diagnosis of chronic inflammatory response syndrome, CRS. This debilitating condition forced him to miss the entire 2020-21 season, leaving many to wonder if his career was over. His return in 2021 was met with new challenges as the lingering effects of long COVID-19 sidelined him again during the 2022-23 season. Then, in August 2023, Toews made a pivotal announcement. He was stepping away from hockey, not to retire, but to dedicate himself entirely to recovery. His quest for healing led him halfway across the globe to India, where he embarked on a 5-week traditional Ayurvedic detoxification called Panchakarma. This holistic treatment, aimed at restoring balance and eliminating deep-rooted toxins, proved transformative. Toews himself described the experience as life-changing, crediting it with helping him reconnect with his body and regain control over his health. It was this profound journey that reignited his passion for the game and paved the way for his highly anticipated return to the NHL. Why not Toronto? The logic behind the snub. So, why would a player of Toews' caliber, fresh off such a personal triumph, turn down a perennial contender like the Maple Leafs? The answer likely lies in a combination of factors: role, pressure, and the historical context of Toronto's past experiments with aging veterans. In Colorado, Toews would slot in behind Nathan MacKinnon and likely the newly re-signed Brock Nelson on the depth chart. This gives him the perfect opportunity to be a crucial third-line center on a team with legitimate Stanley Cup aspirations, all without the overwhelming burden of being a primary offensive threat. He could contribute in a sheltered role, focusing on his defensive prowess and leadership, a perfect fit for a player returning from a significant layoff. For the Winnipeg Jets, the appeal is even more personal. It's a homecoming. Toews would return to his roots, and similarly, he'd be viewed as a depth center behind Mark Skifiel. However, with Vlad Nemesnikov having served as the second-line center in the playoffs, there might be slightly more pressure on Toews to be a greater impact player if he signs with the Jets. Still, the allure of playing for his hometown team, surrounded by familiar faces, is undeniably strong. And then there's Toronto. The very thought of pulling on that blue and white jersey brings with it an unparalleled level of scrutiny and pressure. While he would play behind Austin Matthews and potentially a returning John Tavares, the Leafs' lack of scoring depth was a glaring weakness that ultimately cost them in the playoffs. A 37-year-old player who has missed 2 full NHL seasons might not be the right fit to address that critical need. Furthermore, the memory of other veteran Hall of Fame-bound centers like Joe Thornton struggling to find their footing in Toronto in recent years undoubtedly lingers. It's a risk both Toews and the Leafs might be wise to avoid. The spotlight in Toronto is brighter, the expectations are higher, and the margin for error is razor-thin. For a player prioritizing a smooth transition back into the league after an arduous recovery, a less high-stakes environment might be infinitely more appealing. What's next for the Leafs? With Toews seemingly out of the picture, the Toronto Maple Leafs are already looking elsewhere to address their center ice needs. Whispers are growing louder about New York Rangers center Mika Zibanejad potentially heading north in a trade to solve Toronto's pivot problem. This would be a blockbuster move, one that could significantly alter the landscape of the NHL and finally give the Leafs the elite second-line center they've long craved. No matter what transpires, this promises to be an incredibly intriguing summer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Will they land a big fish via trade? Or will they continue their pursuit of free agent talent? One thing is for sure, the drama in Leafs Nation never truly ends. So, what are your thoughts on Jonathan Toews' decision? Do you think the Maple Leafs dodged a bullet, or did they miss out on a valuable veteran presence? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this report, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive insights.